Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Ground to get real life topics from a biblical perspective. My name is Brian Boyd. Today's topic is the power of you. And everyone, as always, I pray that you've been safe and well and have been productive throughout this week. And if you're one of my amazing viewers, before we get to this topic, please be sure to like and share this video with everyone on social media. And if you're one of my equally amazing listeners, please be sure to download this episode and share it with everyone as well. But with that being said, let's get into the power of you. And if you've been listening over the past few weeks, you'll notice I've been talking a lot about personal growth, how to be grounded, how to have faith, overcoming anxiety, never getting comfortable with where you are in life. And then lastly, just dealing with one of the many struggles that we have to endure. And it's truly crazy, like looking back at all of those topics, because at the core of each of those things simply involves you making the decision to use the power that God has already given you. And the basis for this, of course, is going to be Genesis 1:26, because it says that we're made in the image of God, which means to a degree, we have inherited many of God's traits, and that even includes his limitless potential. So tonight, my whole goal is to hold that mirror up to you and to show you that you have that type of power. You have the power to make a change regardless of who you are or where you are at life. You have been given the power through God to do any and everything that you're after. And to do so, we're going to break down Ecclesiastes 3:11. And it reads that he has made everything beautiful in his time. He has also set the world in their heart so that no man can find out the work that God makes from the beginning to the end. And to do this, we're going to break apart each of these sections of the verse, and then we're going to get into it. And the first part of this is going to be, he has made everything beautiful in his time. And this verse simply means to me that everyone and everything on this earth has its time to shine. And even if it doesn't look like it at that time, it has to come back around. And that's even backed up towards the first verse of this chapter, Ecclesiastes 3:1, because it says that to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. And then it kind of goes into the different things it talks about, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pick up, a time to kill and heal and break down and build up, weep, laugh, mourn, dance, and it just keeps going on and on. But the gist of this story is that, every time in life you have hills and valleys, you have low points, but then you also have high points. And bringing that back around to you, you may have not had one of the best childhoods. You may have not had the best opportunities in life. But as I always say, if you just keep pushing, keep waiting, and keep doing the things that you're supposed to do and withstand anything that comes in your way and don't give up, you'll achieve any and everything that you're after. And for us, that's why this is so critical, because this is talking about the concept of time. And the thing about time is that it's like that old saying, time waits for no man. But the thing about that is that we have the power to change with that time. You could be broke this week, for instance, and you could get paid next week. Me personally, it was a pay week, so I'm good this week, but I may be broke again next week. We'll just see where next week brings. But that goes to every other point in our lives as well. You could be sick today and then you could feel better tomorrow. You could feel like you can go out tomorrow and conquer the world, and then next week be in the lowest point of your life. But the moral of this is that nothing stays the same. Everything is temporary. So even if you're at a point in your life where you're going through one of those low points, just have the hope and understand that no matter how bad it gets for you, it has to end. And just like in the book of Job, there's an appointed time for your change. There's a time where everything is going to come back up and work out the way it's supposed to. And the only way it's going to work out is if you go through, you keep doing what you're doing, and just have faith that, that time will end and it will come to pass, and you'll be at an amazing point. But that in itself is the power of time, right? And going forward, we're going to hit the second point in this verse, and it says that he has set the world in their heart. And the interesting thing here about the word world, when you look at it in the Greek and the Hebrew, it translates to the word eternity. And when I read this verse back, it says that he has set eternity in their heart, which means that forever is literally inside of you. Everything that you're trying to become and everything that you're trying to be, and in some cases, myself included at times, even the things that we're trying to chase. And that literally goes back to the episode that I did last week, which if you haven't checked out, Life in Three Struggles, please be sure to check that out. But basically, I essentially talked about the story of the original sin of Adam and Eve eating from the fruit of the tree, and then Jesus being tempted in the wilderness. But the only difference in this story was, while they were both tempted in the same way with different things, Jesus ultimately made the decision not to give in to the temptation while Adam and Eve did. And the whole basis of this sin is that they were being presented with stuff that they already possessed. So for instance, the serpent told Eve in the garden that if she ate the fruit from the tree, she would be like God, knowing good from evil. But the deception in that was Adam and Eve were already created to be like God, and they already knew good and evil. They were made in his image. And if they were made in his image, that means that they were already alike. Just for example, if I take this phone right here and I make another phone, and it may not be the exact same specs or anything like that, it's still a phone. It may be worse, it may be better, but it's still made in the image of a phone. And that's just the same way with God. God made us, and while we may not be exactly like God, while we may not have the same power and the same extent that God has, we still have his qualities. We can still create things. We can still use our words. Our words in themselves have power. We have the ability to change our own actions and directions in life. And that's the stuff that we get from inheriting God's image. And as far as knowledge, they already knew good from evil because God told them you can eat of every tree in this garden except for that very one. They were already those things. And to bring that back with us, everything that we want to be, everything that we're going after, we're already that person. We've already accomplished those things. But the only way that we can bring that out into the physical world is to just take the responsibility and go after it. There was a book that I've read called The Way of the Superior Man a while back. And, even though it kind of pertains to men, it pertains to women as well, because it says that, you're already a complete person. You're not chasing anything with the world. You're sharing the gifts that you were given with the world. So for instance, I'm not trying to go out and make a lot of money. For instance, the thing that I'm just trying to do is to share my gift. And when I share my gift for speaking or writing or poetry or whatever that gift is, the money and everything else will come. It'll come naturally. And that comes from that verse, a man's gift will make room for him and put him in front of great men, because that's the goal of our lives. Everything that we could ever need on this earth is already provided for us, but we have to realize that everything is within us and we share those things with the world. But, that's pretty much it with that point. And I guess, to wrap up the last point, it reads that so no man can find out the work that God makes from the beginning to the end. And that is kind of an extension from the second part too, because, at times we spend so much time, once again, going after all of these things in life and chasing things that don't necessarily mean anything, or things that we already are. And we don't realize that everything that we need literally is inside of us. The answers to all of the questions that we have is inside of us. And you find those things through simple prayer and self-reflection. And in my personal opinion, self-reflection is truly one of the greatest gifts that you can have. And it is the key to everything, even when it comes to discovering God. And there's something that's truly inexplainable about going to like a quiet place and just simply taking the time to think and reflect on your life, reflect on your goals, your beliefs, your plans, and even your struggles. And when that's done, you'll notice that there's a peace that starts to come over you. If you're a person that's suffering from anxiety or you're suffering from boredom, just go to that place and sit down and think. And I guarantee that there are going to be ideas that you never thought about that's going to come into your mind. There are going to be things that will help you solve those situations that you're going in and you have anxiety over, because as you sit there and reflect, you start to realize things in your life and you're able to resolve those issues accordingly. It's in those moments where, even on a personal level, I've learned like a ton about my life. I learned a ton about who I am and how to deal with every other aspect, whether that was finances, whether that was business, whether that was, my personal relationships, or even some of the stuff that I was going through at the time. A lot of that stuff was resolved through prayer and self-reflection, and I believe that when you get to that point where you start to do self-reflection and all of those other things, you will start to learn the mysteries of God and the mysteries of how the world works. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the insight and stuff that I get comes from those quiet moments where I sit down and I pray to God. And that's why I'm able to come on here each and every week and drop these gems with each and every one of you all. But that, in a nutshell, is the power that we really have. To sum this message up, of course, we have the power to do three things. Of course, in my opinion, one of the biggest things we have is the power of time, of understanding that no matter what goes on in life, whether it's good or bad, it never stays the same. It has to change. And when we understand that time changes and understand that, our situations has to end, it gives us hope for a better future, hope for a better tomorrow. Because like I said, you could be broke today, you could be sick today, you could be weak today, but you may be the complete opposite tomorrow. You may have money tomorrow, you may be healed tomorrow, and you may feel like you could go out there and conquer the world. The second point in this is that, God set the world in our heart, and that goes back to the point of everything is in us. Everything that we already want to be, everything that we envision ourselves being, everything that we're always chasing, that stuff is already within us. And I cannot stress this point enough, because I think that on the surface level, we're all trying to seek something in the world that we already have. We're already enough. And when you understand that you're whole, and you understand that your point from that point on is to just share the stuff that you have with your world, you'll start to see everything line up and things start to take care of you. Like I said, even with Grounded, I started this thing, last June, and this was just something that the Lord placed on my heart to reach out to people and to tell them about the goodness of his word through practical principles that you can use every day to improve your life. And because of that, I can't begin to describe just how much opportunity and just how many amazing people and relationships and stuff that I've built just off of doing this small podcast and week by week, and even getting the opportunity to talk to you all and to hear you all responses, and just know that, your lives have been improved off of here is everything to me as well. But like I said, all of that came from me just understanding and sharing my gift with the world, the gift that God has so humbly blessed me with. So, that's it. Like, if you're one of those people out there, understand that everything is within you. And the way that you get that out comes back to point number 3, so that no man can find out the work that God makes from beginning to end. The ability to self-reflect, to understand who you are, to understand where you're at in your life, to understand where you're going. And then, of course, to understand how all of those things come together. There's something, once again, it's like truly unexplainable. And I can't begin to describe just how much you benefit just from going to a quiet place and just self-reflecting. The ideas and stuff that you have is astronomical, in every area of your life. There have been so many ideas I've gotten just from career paths and things in life, apps and stuff. I do make apps in my career, whatever. And, just different business ventures or even fitness level stuff that I wanted to try out, things that I wanted to do. God has given me some of the most amazing ideas in those moments. And everyone, like I said, that pretty much sums up this episode. just keep doing what you're doing, keep going, and just understand that you have the power. God has given you the power to accomplish amazing things. And like I said, as long as I'm on here, from a week to week basis, I'm going to continue to remind you of that, because there's greatness in each and every person that's listening and everyone that's watching. And I know that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. But like I said, you got to have the time, understand that things will take time, to understand that you're everything and share those gifts. And then last but not least, self-reflect in those moments where you need to get back on track or get an idea, get back on base. But anyway, everyone, as always, I thank you so much for watching. I pray that you all got something out of this message. And once again, please be sure to like and share if this was helpful. Leave a comment below if you're watching this on social media and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, everyone, I love you all so much, and I will talk to you very, very soon. This is Brian Boyd signing off. Peace. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're catching this on social media, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video with everyone that would love to hear it. And if you're one of my amazing listeners, please be sure to download the episode and follow us on all social media platforms at The Grounded Podcast. In the meantime, everyone, I pray that you all be blessed, be safe, be prosperous, and I will see you all soon in an upcoming video. This is Brian Boyd signing off. Peace.